Hey guys, so we're back again with another reading, and this one is all about what do people think of your social media? So what kind of impressions do people have of you from your social media? What are they thinking when they look at your Instagram, your TikTok, your Snapchat, your Facebook, your Twitter, whatever social media you use? We're going to see what kind of views people have of it and have of you from it. And today we have a beautiful selection of cards for you guys to choose from. I am going to blur out the titles on each of the cards so that you won't have your mind swayed by any of the phrases or words on the cards. And of course, you should just use your intuition to see which card you are feeling magnetized and pulled towards. There's no wrong way to make up your mind, but really let your intuition and your inner feeling guide you to the right pile. See which one is calling your name and pulling you in. And then of course, as soon as you make up your mind, you can just scroll down to the timestamps in the comments in the description and jump right into your pile. I also want to mention to you guys that I do have my Patreon up with a ton of additional readings. I just channeled a message about your family and friends, what they think of you and messages they have for you. So that's a really deep one. But as soon as you sign up, you get access to all my readings. So over 55 additional readings about love, spirituality, career, family, friends, relocation, future life, past life, money, so many different topics to choose from, 18+ readings, tipsy readings. There's a lot for you guys to go through over there. So if you would like to join me over on Patreon, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description, and I would absolutely love to see you over there on Patreon. And if you guys want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me. You can have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel mediumship, or intuitively for you. And you can get a pre-recorded reading. You can do a live one-on-one session with me. You can ask me about your career, your love life, just do an energy check-in. There's a ton of options. So if you would like to get one of those, be sure to head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you guys so much for watching. I think we are just about ready to jump into the reading. If you guys need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey pile one, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this Dragon's Hoard card, this is going to be your reading. So for the other oracle cards we have the Keeper of the Scales, Fairness, Balance, the Lady of Lightning, Surprises, Sometimes Shock, Total Paradigm Shift, and the Hungry Ghost, Obsession, Scarcity, Consciousness, Attachment. So pile one, right off the bat, I am getting the vibe that you guys don't post that much on social media. It feels like you're very sparse with it, and like when you do post, it's maybe something a little bit hard to even figure out. It may be something that's a little bit oblique or a little like mysterious, and you might be someone who just will randomly post every few months, or when you do post, you post a lot and then you go silent for months or something like that, or silent for weeks. But I feel like there's a lot of mystery and curiosity. Or you may be someone that like posts regularly, but even when you do, you don't tag the location, or you don't tag the people you're with, or there's just a lot of curiosity about what you're doing and where you're at and what you guys are up to. I feel like there's a lot of people who definitely check your stories, check your posts, and are just wanting to know more. We did get the Hungry Ghost, Obsessions, and Scarcity Consciousness. So I feel like a lot of people are like, I want to know what pile one is up to. What are they doing? And a lot of people are curious about you. I also feel like you guys probably very much surprise people with what you do post. Maybe, like I said, you'll go ghost and silent for like months and then suddenly pop back up and you're doing something crazy, or you're with a totally new group of friends, or you have a new boyfriend and you're tagging him, or you're traveling to some brand new location. But it feels like when you do post, people are always like, what the heck? Or you have like a different sense of style or something. But I feel like people are always like on their toes. You know, they never know what to expect with you. We did get the Lady of Lightning, Surprises, Sometimes Shock, Total Paradigm Shift. And that's definitely an energy I'm picking up for you guys. It's almost an Aquarian energy of like, let me surprise these people. I feel like you guys, it's almost like I'm hearing in my head something like anything but predictable, or I want to be anything but predictable. Like the last thing you guys want is for people to just be like, oh, this is like a basic Instagram, or this is a basic Snapchat or TikTok or whatever. Like you want, I feel like there's this feeling with you of like just doing things your own way, marching to the beat of your own drum, and people really not knowing like what to expect or what you're doing or what you're up to. I don't feel like you guys are that messy on social media because we do have the keeper of the scales, and that's giving me Libra vibes. So there may still be an aspect of beauty and kind of like decorum, or like, you know, Libras tend to be very graceful, very well put together. They're very diplomatic as well. So you guys might not be the type to like really post crazy stuff about like politics or stuff that would really annoy people. Or you might not be the type to like argue online or to be really messy. So it's not like you're surprising people in that way by just being like suddenly one day you're just ranting like 10 stories in a row. You might keep yourself kind of graceful on social media, but there is this aspect of not sure what to expect with you, and people, I think, really being surprised by the content you put that out there. But I almost feel like sometimes people get addicted to it because you post so infrequently. It's like it creates this scarcity mindset, which we literally have, scarcity consciousness, where people are like, I really don't know what pile one is going to do next, and I need to know, and I'm curious. And I feel like it just makes them want to know even more about you, like in a way that they probably wouldn't if you guys were like posting every single day or whatever. I also feel like some of you guys have gone through a real shift or change in your personality on social media, or how you post on social media within the last few years or so. But there is a major, I feel like it's almost like who you used to be is not who you are now. And some of you guys might have been through several shifts like this. You might have really pivoted and changed many times and altered how you present yourself to the world. But again, I feel like people are just always like, huh, wow, what is pile one up to? Like, this is really crazy. Like, I just wouldn't expect that from them. Or, wow, I would expect them to be surprising me, but I just didn't know it was going to be this. You might have also changed like your fashion or how you present your physical self to the world. You might have gone through multiple hair colors or really changed up like your makeup or dressing style in some kind of drastic way. But I just feel like the vibe people get with you is like they still don't really know what to expect. And I think they honestly find this kind of exciting. There's something a little bit cosmopolitan, unpredictable, yeah, kind of invigorating about you, like a TV show where it's not one of those TV shows where you just know every time they're going to kind of laugh and like have some small problem and then they'll figure it out at the end and then they'll hug. Like, not one of those TV shows, but if you guys were a TV show, you'd be like the completely crazy one that like no one knows what's going to happen next, and there's a bunch of cliffhangers, and like maybe they're like the writers go on strike or something, and then like they miss half of the next season and then they drop back into the show, and you're like, what is going on? But you love it, and you're like tuning in every time because you got to know what's going to happen next, and it's not boring. Like, I can't stand boring shows, to be honest. So this would be the kind of show I would watch. I know some people are probably like, this sounds like the worst TV show in the history of the world. Like, this sounds way too chaotic. But for me, I would want to watch a show like this where you're genuinely, you know, not able to figure it out. Like, it's almost like there's, you know, a mystery movie or a horror movie, and you just know who's the bad guy from the jump, and it's just so obvious what's going to happen, and you could practically like just figure it out in your sleep, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I could watch the rest of it, versus one where you're literally shocked the whole time and you never know what to expect, and the guy you thought was good turns out to be the bad guy. Like, those are the ones you really remember, and I feel like that's kind of you. Like, you really actually are unpredictable on social media, and people don't, there's a lot of mystery around you guys. Some of you guys might not even post hardly at all, but I feel like for those of you guys who do post, honestly, it's that sporadic energy, or just a very, like, a lot of surprise coming through. Let's get into some tarot cards. So we got the Devil card reversed, the Magician, the Lovers, the World reversed, the Eight of Cups reversed, and the Wheel of Fortune reversed. So a lot of reversals, actually, which is interesting. But one thing I'm getting right off the bat is you have a lot of people who are attracted to you or were attracted to you in the past. And you might even be like a one that got away, or someone that, you know, someone checks up on as like their old crush kind of a thing. Some of you guys might even have past relationship people who are definitely lurking your page and definitely check in on you regularly. But I'm getting the vibe that it's not necessarily just one person in particular. It's multiple. I'm not necessarily sensing one energy as them stepping forward being like, yeah, I'm stalking pile pile one, but more like there's multiple people in the past who think of you as very cute, very attractive, very sexy, with this devil card coming in and the Lovers card. So I feel like there's lots of people that would honestly like to be in relationships with you. You might even have a lot of followers on your page of people that you used to flirt with, or people that you were in relationships with. Like, that might make up a good portion of your followers or something. You might have a lot of people that follow you because they thought you were cute or because of their romantic interests on some level. Yeah, because I feel like there's a lot of people that are like, they think you're really sexy, to be honest. And I feel like they wouldn't mind if you guys posted like a bikini pic, or, you know, like randomly like a pajama pic where you could kind of see a little more skin, you know, like you might be like, oh, I would never post that, but that's what they're hoping for. I feel like there's a lot of people that would be freaking thrilled if you guys decided to post something a little risque, or because again, I feel like you guys kind of, that's not necessarily something you would do on purpose, because I feel like you are always trying to subvert things, trying to do your own thing. There's an intellectual quality around some of you guys. There's an artistic quality. So I don't feel like you guys would necessarily want to post just to get like romantic or sexual attention. It's almost like you want to be seen as more than that, which of course is awesome and great. But I feel like that's a thing that a lot of people are interested in with you, is they find you very physically attractive. And so they wouldn't mind at all if you guys decided to, like I said, post and show a little bit more skin. Let me take out that glare. But anyways, yeah, so I feel like a lot of people find you very, very attractive. And they kind of assume that if you're not showing someone on social media that you do have a partner, or that you're with someone, or that you are dating around a lot. Because I feel like that's just your vibe. Like, you're very charming. And honestly, you have a lot of magnetism. A lot of people are drawn to you. A lot of people would like to date you. So they just assume that even if you're not really posting anyone, that you probably have a partner or you're with someone. Some of them might, yeah, even assume that you have a partner like paying for everything for you. Like, if you are traveling around a lot or doing something kind of unexpected, you might have people that assume that you have someone paying for you or taking care of you in some kind of a way, and kind of wondering like, how does pile one do this? I also feel like a lot of you guys have a really cool sense of style, or a unique way of dressing and carrying yourself. And so again, there's this question of like, how does pile one come up with these ideas? How does pile one like decide on this? How does pile one make themselves look this good? And I feel like there's a lot of people that would really love like to be able to post you on their socials as well. Like, I feel like you have kind of a cool vibe. There's something about the way you dress or the way you carry yourself that seems kind of avant-garde, maybe even ahead of trends, but I don't feel like you guys purposefully follow trends. I feel like you always do your own thing, and you always are dressing for yourself. Spirit keeps saying in my mind the word elusive, Elusive, over and over and over in my mind. So I really think there's something about you, and we did get the 8 of Cups reversed, but I do think there's something about you where like you seem like you're not easily accessible. You might even be someone where if someone like DMs you on social media, you don't really respond, or you would respond after a really long period of time, or you just wouldn't respond at all. And people kind of like not getting to have access to you in the way that they really would want to. People who I think, yeah, like they wish that in a way you were more available. I feel like you guys are kind of have a lot of blocks up with social media. Like, you're not going to let in everyone's energy. Energetically, you have to block out a lot, and you're kind of like keeping your own energy to yourself. And so I feel like a lot of people, they're just very curious. They want to know more about you. They want to see what you're up to. And I feel like there's a part of you that kind of hides away. And I think what people generally tend to think of your social media is you're cool, but it's almost like they can't figure you out. And for some of you guys, you might even think about posting more, because I feel like some of you guys hold yourselves back, and there is this element of not being able to figure you out. But I think sometimes in a way people get frustrated with that, is what I'm hearing from spirit, and they would like to know more about you. And you might need to know that, like, if you show more of yourself, you're not going to drive any of the right people away. You're only going to drive away the wrong people. So there's just this message that if you're like, yeah, I kind of want to post more, but I always like freak out and get nervous about a post, just start posting more. Because I feel like actually, pile one, you're very charming. People really like you and they like your energy, and like the more you show of your honest self, the better. I think in general in life, you know, the more honest we can be about our soul, I think that's a, you know, a high value, a high vibe thing to do. Anyway, but yeah, I feel like people, you have kind of a moon energy, you know, moon is in like darkness, and there's kind of this like darker quality to you, this intellectual, dark, artistic quality to you. So I feel like people, in a way, they're kind of afraid of you, I want to say, pile one, like they kind of get nervous around you. You know, I feel like they don't know really how to approach you or how to take you or what you're doing all the time. And again, it might make them kind of insecure or nervous or just unsure of like what to say to you. And I do think if you guys posted a little bit more, it might actually be a positive thing and allow people to feel like they can access you more in like a good way. Like, oh, okay, pile one is approachable and I should DM them and ask them if they want to go to this event. Because now it's almost like I feel like there's a lot of people that might think you're like too cool for school, or that you're just kind of like standoffish. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this person who, like I said, is just elusive, hard to get a hold of, like probably wouldn't even show up if I invited them. Yeah, let me get into some of these cards. Let's do a little live shuffle for pile number one. Ooh, love. I'm telling you, so many people have crushes on you, pile one. A lot of people have crushes on you. You might have one, you know, person in particular from your past, like a twin flame soulmate situation lurking on your page. But again, I actually feel like you guys have a lot of people who would like to date you, a lot of people who have crushes on you, a lot of people who think of you as very attractive and someone that they would for sure want to date, for sure be very proud of, to be seen with. But again, I don't know. There's like a feisty quality to you, pile one. I feel like people are afraid you're gonna like, almost like scream at them, which I know is, I'm sure you wouldn't, but like there's something about you that I feel like they're like, oh, like it would be so lame if they would think I'm so lame. They're too cool for this. Like they're just, yeah, they're on a different level, and like they would think that if I would approach them, they would think that I'm like cringe. So I'm just not going to say anything. And they probably, like, I feel like you guys also come off as highly intelligent and as someone who, is good with your words, or just like sees through people. There's kind of a scorpionic Aquarian vibe to you that I'm getting, like a heavy Pluto. You might have a dominant Pluto in your chart, or you might have Pluto on the ascendant, Pluto aspecting the ascendant, Pluto aspecting the sun, Pluto aspecting the moon or Venus. But there's something about you, or even Mars, but there's something about you that I think people get intimidated by. Also Scorpio, sun, ascendant, moon, Venus, Mars. So yeah, there's something about you that I feel like people are just like kind of wary of, that you come off like you would not mind standing up for yourself. You might also have a very strong Mars, like Mars aspecting the ascendant, or a very visible Mars. But there's something about you that I feel like, yeah, there's an intimidation factor. And it's almost like I don't want to mess with pile one, because you might even be the type to like post a screenshot on your stories of like, this loser slid into my DMs, or this is something that I feel like people might be afraid of with you. But yes, a lot of people have crushes on you, and a lot of people just see you as very physically attractive and very beautiful or very handsome. And I feel like they just check to see what you guys are up to just based on that physical level. Your pure physicality is just very attractive to a lot of people. Like just you, your face, your hair, your body, just everything about how you look. I feel like even without like extra accoutrement, without like makeup and like, you know, clothing and stuff, you are very, I mean, hopefully you're wearing clothing, I guess, but like, anyway, it's not about the clothing. You know what I mean? It's about what's underneath it. It's about actually you. Let's get more cards. Although I'm sure they would love it if you posted without any clothing. But I don't think that's allowed on most social media places. So we got willpower, freedom. Yes, you come off as very free. We also got the world reversed. But yeah, I think there is this like I said, it's like almost Aquarian as well. Like you're not going to tie me down, and you're not going to limit me, and you're not going to tie me up and lock me away. And there's something about you that's very honestly intimidating. Like I feel like you just get your mind on something and you just do it, and you seem very unstoppable, and there's almost a hard shell to you. I don't know if some of you guys have like a tough ascendant. I always think a tough ascendant is a good thing, and I don't mean tough as in like difficult or a bad place ascendant. I actually think having a very kind of intimidating ascendant is better because people don't mess with you as much, and it kind of gives you some protection. And that's what I'm getting for some of you guys, is you might have a very like intimidating ascendant, like a Capricorn ascendant or a Aries ascendant, Scorpio ascendant, Aquarius ascendant, one of those placements that comes off kind of like, don't mess with me. I feel not afraid, very like harsh kind of energies. Like I would say those are the harshest energies in the zodiac. And some of you guys might have really tough ascendants, like I said, or even some of those planets aspecting your ascendant, like Saturn, Pluto, or Mars aspecting your ascendant. But there's a quality about you that I feel like people know, like, I don't want to just run up on pile one, because I don't think they would take it very well. And so I don't feel like you guys probably have a lot of people sliding into your DMs, and it may be because you are intimidating. I think there's a lot of people lurking, admiring you from the shadows, but like afraid to actually ask you out, afraid to actually be like, hey, do you want to hang? Because I feel like they just, yeah, there's something about you that like is very kind of in your own energy, very definite, very strong, very self-confident, to be honest. And I feel like you also seem, I think, very satisfied with your life. I feel like there's a lot of people that aren't sure how they would even fit in or add value to your life, because I think you seem intimidating. Let's get some more cards, because I'm kind of getting the vibe, and I mentioned it before, of like, if you were like Megan Fox and you showed up to the barbecue, the local barbecue that someone's having on the 4th of July or something, you would think everyone would be like, oh, sweet, Megan Fox is here. That's awesome. But probably like a lot of girls would be jealous. The guys would probably be feeling insecure too, because they're like, I can't compare to Megan Fox. So they might be rude to her and be like, hey, get out of here, just because they're feeling insecure about it. You know what I mean? Like their ego is popped because suddenly there's this embodiment of feminine beauty right in front of them, and they know they can't measure up. So sometimes when you actually have this kind of power to you, I'm almost getting like a dark femininity vibe to you, like a Plutonian, a moon energy, a feminine energy, but it's very the darker side. And by darker, I don't mean like nasty evil. I just mean there's like light energy and darker energy, or in, astrology, we would say moon versus sun, and sun energy is kind of bright and bubbly and warm and extroverted, and then moon energy is kind of more private and secret, and it's very associated with witchcraft and things kind of done in the dark. And there's something about you that I feel like, is very like seeing through people's pretense as well. Like you see the truth, you see who they really are, you can really see who someone is. So I feel like people don't necessarily feel comfortable approaching you because you don't seem like super bubbly, to be honest. So let's get one more card. Reconciliation. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, you definitely have a lot of people from your past who are lurking on your page and still think of you as highly attractive, and possibly one person in particular that would like a reconciliation. But that's not that type of reading, so we are not going to be getting into it. They cannot take over this reading. We are not allowing it. But you definitely might have like a past ex or something who really kind of checks your page a lot. They might be doing it from a Finsta or from a fake account. It's always funny. Like I posted something to my stories on Instagram the other day that was like, when you, like when he's blocked you 7 times, but he doesn't know you're Shein giveaway 551 on Instagram. I thought that was so funny because like it's true, right? The weirdo like blank no name accounts and with no ID or whatever. I mean, there's people that will go all out for their Finstas. So I feel like definitely you guys probably have multiple people lurking and probably one person in particular for sure. But I do feel like you have a lot of interest from your past is what I'm getting. Like there's a lot of people who think of you as really gorgeous and think of you as someone who honestly, you guys bring a lot to the table. Like I also feel like you would make a great partner. You would make a great, yeah, someone would be a partner and a girlfriend or a boyfriend who someone would be so proud to be seen with in public and be proud to be like known as dating. So I feel like they think of you as very cool, to be honest. Like I feel like there's a cool side to you as well, just like avant-garde, fashion forward. Like you don't do cringe things is what I'm feeling. Like you're not going to be that embarrassing partner that's like, let's dress up in matching onesies. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just don't feel like it's your vibe. Like you wouldn't be wanting to do anything that's kind of like overly cutesy. So I feel like there's a lot of people that are like, dang, I would love to show off being with Pal One. Like that would be such clout for me. And let's get some Astro Dice. Okay, so we got the nodes. That one's kind of half. So anyway, we'll just do it to North Node. And then that was at Taurus, and it just magically spun over to Pisces without, oh, and Aquarius. So 3 different signs. I didn't touch, I mean, I only touched it on the last time trying to spin it over to Aquarius, but then it rolled over to Pisces, to Aquarius. So it was Taurus, Pisces, and Aquarius. Okay, I'm going to try to talk about all of them quickly. So we have Leo, Aquarius, Pisces, Taurus. Yeah, that's not even that many because we have the nodes as well. Anyway, so 5th house, Leo, you guys definitely come off as a center of attention energy. You definitely come off as someone that a lot of people are drawn to, and also possibly like someone who has a lot of creative interests, a lot of creative side. That energy also comes through with Pisces. Pisces can also be highly elusive. It is the fish that will swim away when you try to grab it. I just saw an astrology meme that was like, something about Pisces having multiple boyfriends, or when you ask Pisces like if they're seeing anyone else or something like that. And it is true, you know, Pisces are very like don't want to be held down. So is Aquarius. And I definitely get that vibe strongly about you guys, that there's something about you that is like, oh, don't come on too strong. Just let me have my freedom. Let me have my independence. I want to do my own thing. And even though you're very beautiful, and we did get that with that Taurus energy, and I feel like you have a beautiful eye to aesthetics, you might not express your romanticism towards just one person in particular or towards relationships. You might express it towards how you dress, how you carry yourself, and you might just be someone who really likes to be independent, do your own thing, and like explore the world, you know, and not that you want to be like just tied down with one person, place, or thing. I feel like people do sense a lot of power and magnetism with you. We did get a lot of major arcana cards when it came to all the tarot, and then we also got the North Node. So I feel like there's something about you that just is very potent, very strong, and stands out. And we also got Leo. Leo's also going to stand out of the crowd whenever. People are going to be drawn to Leo no matter what they do. And so, yeah, I feel like you have a lot of eyes on you, Pile One. Maybe you feel that pressure and that's why you don't like to post as much. But honestly, it's in a good way. I feel like people are drawn to you. They think of you as someone who's really interesting. They can't quite figure you out, but I think it's like in a good way. Like I said, that murder mystery where you still are on the edge of your seat the whole time, or the like 1,000-piece puzzle where you really don't get to see what it's going to look like up until like just close to when it's being finished, and you're kind of like constantly searching for like, okay, what's the next piece here? How can I figure this out? So yes, I feel like people are very curious about you, invigorated by you. There is a lot of mystery about you, but it's in a very it's in a very attractive way. It definitely draws and magnetizes people to you. It doesn't repel them. So anyways, I think that is what I have for you guys. Pile One, let me know how it resonated in the comments for you. I always love hearing from you guys, hearing your thoughts, experiences, what you think, whether you think it's resonated for you or whether you think you fit that archetype or not. Also, if you guys want to hit the like button, give this reading a thumbs up if it resonated, that always helps. And if you can subscribe, turn on notifications, hit the little bell so you can find out as soon as I post next, that would be awesome. And if you guys want to see more of my content, be sure sure to head on over to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. As soon as you sign up, you get access to over 55 additional readings. I just posted one about what your friends and family members think of you, your ancestors think of you. And as soon as you sign up, you get access to everything. So there's love readings, career readings, past life readings, future readings, money readings, relocation readings, so many topics. So if you guys want to check that out, like I said, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description to join me over on Patreon. And if you want to get a private one-on-one session with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. And you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel mediumship, or intuitively. And yeah, there's lots of options. You can get a love reading. You can ask me about basically anything. So if you would like to get that, be sure to head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back very soon again for another reading. So take care, guys, and I'll see you then. Bye. Hey Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So if you guys pick this Benefactor, Grace, and Generosity card, this is going to be your reading. So for your other cards, you guys got the Well Watcher, Wisdom, Power of the Divine, the Horse King, Assistance, Control, and the Diamond Dreamer, Material Wealth, True Prosperity. So I feel like a lot of you guys give off a kind of responsible vibe. Some of you guys are hustling and you're working towards some kind of a goal in your career, and people can tell that energy about you. You seem like someone who is driven, who's goal focused, who's going to be accomplishing big things. And I feel like people are kind of a little bit intimidated by your social media, or they just think of you as someone who is very focused, doesn't have time for the BS, isn't going to be out at a club every single weekend. Or if you are, maybe you're doing it in a way that's like productive, like you're networking, talking to people, making connections. But I do feel like a lot of people feel like you're destined for success, or you might even already have some level of success, already be successful, already be destined for a really strong path. I also feel like people think of you as someone who is highly intelligent, very smart, very incisive, and probably knows a lot of information. I'm almost getting like Virgo vibes for you guys. So like someone who has their head screwed on really straight. They might think of you as someone who's an excellent communicator, or when you do post, you seem like someone who's very functional. I'm not seeing someone who's like a big mess or constantly posting messy stuff, you know, like those breakup posts someone will post that is like an Instagram quote of like, when someone betrays you the first time, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I feel like you guys wouldn't really post stuff like that. If you ever do post quotes, they might be highly intelligent quotes, like actual poetry, or you know, a quote from a philosopher or something, or a link to like a news article. But I feel like there's an intelligence around you guys. And there's also this, again, like I said, being on the right path, being really smart about things, carrying yourself well. You might seem like someone who just has a really good job and has their eyes focused on the prize. You might seem like someone who also has like a neat, tidy house, and someone who is, yeah, very well put together. Maybe some of you guys do something like the clean girl aesthetic, or you have an aesthetic that's, yeah, like I said, well put together, making a good impression on a lot of people, and not seeming like someone who has a ton of problems or someone who is a disaster or super disorganized in their life. But I feel like you give off the vibe of someone who is possibly going to become CEO one day, or going to open their own business, or going to be promoted, or just someone who runs in a circle of other creative people, other successful people, other well-off people. Some people might even idealize the life you live and think like, oh, Pile 2 has a perfect life, or Pile 2 everything comes easy to them, or something like that. But I do feel like a lot of people are just noting like, wow, Pile 2 has a nice wardrobe, Pile 2 seems to have a good job, Pile 2 seems like they have things together. Like if you guys have kids, you might come off like a very functional family, not a messy family that's like kind of always struggling, but one of those families that might put out really nice Christmas photos, you know, with like the kids in matching dresses and the parents, you know, in like color coordinated suit and dress. And you might seem like someone who like would decorate for the holidays and stuff like that. And if you're single, you might seem like you're on the path towards that, or you're someone who will one day accomplish that. You might seem like someone who just is the kind of person who would wake up early in the morning and like go to yoga, grab a green juice. And yeah, like there's a functionality, I want to say, around you guys. There's a way you carry yourself that I feel like people really look up to and respect and think is like very admirable. So let's get into some more cards. Let's get into some tarot. So we got the Page of Cups. Oh yeah, and I didn't even talk about this Well Watcher, Wisdom, Power of the Divine, but we're going to get into it with this next card, the Moon. We got the King of Wands, the Ten of Wands, and the High Priestess, and final card, Four of Pentacles reversed. So again, with this Moon, High Priestess, Well Watcher energy, there is for sure a vibe around you also of being a little bit psychic or intuitive. Some of you guys might give off a vibe of someone who is very intuitive and very tuned into, possibly if you're a woman, your feminine intuition, your woman's intuition. But you might come off like someone who is kind of earthy in that way as well. You might be someone who like makes your own bread or eats only organic food, or is very down to earth in some way, very in touch with like the seasons, very in touch with your gut feeling about things. And I do feel like some people are like intimidated by this. They might think of you as someone who keeps your circle small or isn't just open to talking to every person. You might come off like someone that sometimes they might be like, I don't know if, you know, Pile One would accept my invitation to this barbecue, or even if they did accept it, if I could make it nice enough for them. Like maybe they wouldn't be impressed that we're just using like store-bought hot dogs and, you know, some regular old hot dog rolls from the store. Maybe they would expect it to be like gluten-free organic hot dog rolls and like perfect beef hot dogs or something like that, but like grass-fed beef hot dogs. But yeah, I feel like there is this intimidation, almost like some people really might think of you as being very perfect. Some people might think that you have a really beautiful aesthetic as well, and that the way you dress and put yourself together is very graceful and very very like, I want to say ladylike or elegant or just refined. I'm almost getting that some of you guys might have a kind of minimalistic way of dressing or a very traditional way of dressing in some way. So you might wear a lot of neutrals, or you might also wear like traditional type of clothing, like preppy, or yeah, like just a nice, well put together outfit that wouldn't look out of place at like a country club or a nice function, that kind of a thing. I feel like some of you guys come off as well as highly educated, or like someone who could be capable of being highly educated. Like even if you didn't go to college or something, that you would be someone that could definitely hold your own in a conversation with someone who is like a nuclear physicist or someone who is the president of a company. You probably know how to carry yourself in all different kinds of social situations. And I feel like there's a kind of innate dignity about you guys. Like the way people perceive you on social media is like very dignified. Like you're not going to be making a mockery of yourself. You're not going to be doing clown behavior. You're not going to be, you know, posting yourself probably like super, super drunk. Or even if you do, it might be at like a very nice function. So even if everyone's like, woo, she seems really tipsy in these stories, it's like you're doing it at like a gala or something, or you're doing it at a really nice wedding in like Positano or something. And so people are like, okay, well, anyway, they still seem very dignified and they're, you know, they're living it up in like a really nice way. So I do feel like there might be a lot of jealousy around some of you guys and the way you carry yourself on your social media. There may be people that think you have everything figured out or everything perfect, or that, you know, you've never had to fight for anything. You've never had any hardship. People might assume that you've had everything handed to you, or that you've had things paid for you even by like a sugar daddy or something like that. And with the Ten of Wands, you might also be perceived as someone who's just very busy and has a lot on their plate. You might also be perceived from your social media as someone that has a really high performing job, or has just a very busy schedule, a lot on their plate. And again, I feel like it's like a higher position. It wouldn't be like you're super busy, but you're running around working as an assistant. Even if you're doing that, maybe it's like for a very competitive internship with like a prominent company or something. But I feel like a lot of people just assume like Pile 2, you guys have got your act together, you've got your life together. I feel like you come off very functional on social media. area. And I feel like you come off as someone who would honestly make a good like long-term partner in a way. Because to me, you feel like you are very organized. You take really good care of yourself in multiple ways. You might be perceived as well as someone who like goes to fitness activities, or like a Pilates girl or something like that, where you might be perceived as someone who definitely works out or has a very healthy lifestyle in some way. But again, I feel like a lot of people think you would make a great partner because you're someone who is, like I said, very functional. Like you would probably make a great parent in many ways. You'd probably be that kind of parent that would be like, okay, did you do your homework? And now it's time to practice piano. And like, let me take you to your soccer practice. But again, very functional. And again, I keep forgetting to go into this, but we did get the high priestess, the moon, and the well watcher, wisdom, power of the divine. So I do feel like you do give off a psychic or grounded vibe as well. You do give off a vibe of someone who's very intuitive and possibly very in touch with their feminine intuition. If you are a woman, you might even seem like someone who does a lot of natural practices. So maybe someone who would, like, if someone was sick, would give them like a tincture of like lemon balm, or would give them some rosemary oil or something like that. But you might come off like someone who's very into, or elderberry, you know, someone who's very into like natural remedies, or is a very natural cook, or someone who is into like recycling, organic, eco-friendly things, that kind of vibe, or even like sustainable fashion, or maybe even like causes associated with how you dress or how you carry yourself. And again, I feel like there's like a bougie quality to this, because it's almost like you have time to think of these things, because they assume that you already have your financial situation set to a certain extent, where you're not spending your time worrying about like, how am I going to pay that bill? But you're worrying about like bigger picture causes, and maybe you're donating to things. People might think of you as very politically aware, or someone who is a very politically active person, someone who is very concerned about certain issues in the world, and someone who I feel like, again, comes off as highly educated and very aware of a lot of different things, and not someone who's just head in the clouds, like kind of out of it, or again, like I said, drinking all the time, or just kind of like spacing out all the time. I feel like you do come off like someone who is very smart, very intelligent. And again, there might be some people who are intimidated by this. I do feel like some of you guys might attract some jealousy, and some of you guys might attract people that just think of you as someone who has this perfect life, perfect existence, and almost like, why does pile 2 get this life? Why does pile 2 have these things handed to them? And why does pile 2 have everything come so easy to them? They do also perceive you as someone who's building a solid foundation, and someone who possibly has a lot of friends, or a big social network, or just is close to family. But honestly, I feel like you seem like someone that a lot of people would want to have in their neighborhood. You seem like someone who would be a good neighbor, someone who would like keep up with the gardening, maybe have like a lemonade stand and invite people over, and be very friendly and nice. And you're not necessarily like the warmest person. You're not necessarily going to like pour out your entire heart to everyone, but you're a really nice person deep down. Like, I'm kind of getting the vibe, Spirit is bringing up to my mind Kate Middleton of all people, and how she carries herself. I think she has a really interesting energy, because she has a Cancer moon, but she has a Capricorn ascendant. And so funnily enough, actually, it's kind of flipped with Megan, because she has I think a Leo moon and a Cancer ascendant. And I've always wondered if that's maybe why there's like tension, because sometimes when someone has like the ascendant, they seem to have that energy, but they don't, and vice versa. And so Kate Middleton's ascendant is literally opposing her moon. So she's actually a Cancer on the inside, but can come off very refined and composed and kind of like harsher, But anyway, that's a totally different topic. I don't want to get off topic. But my point is that some of you guys might give off a vibe that's like a little bit more composed and a little bit more almost withdrawn, or not like super ooey gooey lovey-dovey, but you're actually super loyal and giving to the people that you're really close to. But again, it's almost like that Capricorn ascendant vibe. We're kind of like a little bit of a distance. Like, I'm not gonna like give you the biggest hug as soon as I just first met you, but you know, I'm really loyal deep down and I will like look after you and take care of you. And I'm the person you can call on and rely on. And maybe that's your way of showing love or something. Anyway, let's get into some of these cards. We're going to do a little live shuffle for pile 2 and what vibe they give off on their social media. So we got forgiveness. So some of you guys might have old friends or people that would like to contact you from your past who lurk your socials for sure. We got good luck. Again, that thought that you guys have had everything handed to you, or you've just been really lucky, or your life has no problems, which is, you know, honestly, of all the things people could be thinking about you, this is not that bad. Thinking you have everything perfect isn't so bad on the list of traits people could ascribe to you. But I do feel like you have people from your past that wish they could come back. They might see you as someone who's accomplishing milestones right now or doing a lot, and they might kind of get jealous about, like I said, the trajectory you're on or the path you're on. And with that forgiveness card, they might consider like reaching out or sending a DM or something. And they might, I'm getting that some of them are afraid because, again, they might see you as someone that like might not be super warm and fuzzy and welcoming to them. And if they did slide into the DMs and try to get back into your life, that you might be like, no, thank you. Like, we've been there, done that. I do feel like they do perceive you as someone who has high standards for the people in your life, and like you're someone that isn't going to really tolerate a ton of bad behavior, or you're not going to be someone who tolerates someone coming in and acting in a really trashy manner. I do feel like they perceive you as someone who, with your social media, probably dresses well. If this is someone you don't know who's looking at your social media for the first time, I feel like they'll probably think, wow, pile 2 really has their life together. And maybe you're someone who just doesn't post your messy stuff on socials, or you don't even post a lot at all, or you might even not have social media or just have like a LinkedIn. But again, I feel like a lot of people are getting this vibe of like they're not able to tell a whole lot about your personality from social media. They're not like able to really see like what is piles 1, 2's deepest interest. You're not going to like pour out a diary entry all over your social media is what I'm getting. You're not one of those people that uses it to just post everything that they're going through or everything they're thinking, or might write like a really long post about like, today, you know, is the anniversary of my like cat dying and I'm blah, blah, blah. Like nothing wrong with that, but I just don't feel like that's how you use your socials. I feel like you're a little bit more internal or withdrawn, or just like, this is the version of myself publicly that I want to show. So if you're worried about that, like definitely rest assured that people get a really good impression from you from your socials, and they think of you as someone who's very competent, like I said, very well put together, and possibly someone who runs in a very high-end circle or has a lot of like high-end friends, and possibly someone who dresses really nicely and has a lot of people around them that are kind of on an upper level or their same level, people who maybe are highly educated or just have a really good job and just probably have a really great 401k plan and all these things, you know? So yeah, let's get into some more cards. What other cards are we going to get for pile 2 and their social media? Look, the Justice card and the Truth card. Because I do feel like people are intimidated by you because they sometimes worry that they don't measure up to you. They might feel like you see right through them, or that if they were to wear like a tacky outfit and be like, well, I hope pile 2 isn't going to notice that this is a really cheap outfit that I got from like Shein and the stitching's completely off, that they would be like, you know what, I'm going to change out of this before I run over to pile 2's place, because I know they wouldn't notice that like the stitching isn't done well. And I know they're going to notice that like this is like a fake bag that I'm wearing, or this is like my hair is really out of place, my hair is very messy. There is this perfectionist vibe. So I do feel like people would only come up to you when they feel neat, tidy, and they see you as someone who gives off that vibe as well. They see you as someone who puts yourself together, has nice outfits, probably smells really good, and is very clean all the time. And you might also have a very, people might assume this about you, whether it's true or not, but they might assume you constantly have like a perfectly clean house house, perfectly clean car, that you're not one of those people that's going to be driving around with like all your stuff in the back seat and being like, oh, sorry, let me move this box of Kleenex away from you. You know, you're not that vibe. I feel like people just assume that you really have your life together. And honestly, I feel like there's a lot of people that would love to have you in their social circle, love to have you as a friend, and might think of you as someone who, again, is going to make a really good impression on others, is someone who they would be really proud to be seen with out at a club or any kind of club, not just the like dance club, because honestly that might not even be your vibe, but you know, a country club or like a private club, or maybe at a restaurant around town or at the neighborhood bake sale. You just seem very functional and very smart. And again, people are, I think, really estimating stuff about your intelligence or about your education, that you come off like someone who's highly educated. And with this justice card, it's almost giving me like lawyer vibes, or someone who works one of those jobs that requires higher education or requires a lot of a higher degree or something like that. Let's get into some of these astrology dice for pile number 2. So we got Pluto, we got the 4th house, Cancer, and we got Aries. Okay, so Pluto is Scorpio, 4th house Cancer, and then Aries, so Cancer, Aries, Scorpio. And so definitely 4th house makes a lot of sense to me, because I do feel like people assume you have a beautiful home, that I feel like they would assume you are a good cook, or possibly you cook everything very healthy, organic, and also that I feel like that you would be close to family, or you would be a great family member to have. You'd be a great mom. You'd probably be one of those moms that would like cook the organic strawberry rhubarb pie from scratch and like have really nice healthy snacks waiting for your kids when they come home from school, and you would be like the PTA president or the soccer coach, that kind of a thing. So again, with that 4th house energy of someone who family is very important to, and again takes really good care of their home, takes care of their loved ones, and is kind of a mom energy in that sense. Then we have Pluto, and again, we also got this Truth card, and with Pluto for sure, there is this fear that for some of you guys, you see right through people. Like if someone is lying or trying to pretend to be something they're not, or trying to fake, that you guys would be the type to sense it out. I remember I had this meeting with this guy friend of mine was like opening a business, and he was asking me if I could like bring other people in and, you know, get him like some connections. And I was like, yeah, I think I can. I'll introduce you to my friend. She's really into business. She's really good at it. So I brought her over to like have a meeting, and it was supposed to be like just a fun meeting with drinks. And when I tell you, this girl went in on him and was asking him the most intense questions. I didn't even understand half of it, because like I am not a finance girl, I am not a math girl, that is not my lane. I'm like an English and like tarot type of girl, okay? That's my lane. So anyway, she was asking him all these like technical math questions, finance questions, really complicated stuff. And then I remember one time he gave an answer, and she was like, but that doesn't make any sense. So the money, blah, 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 like some tax question or something. And he was like shocked, and I was shocked, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe she's asking this. And afterwards he was like, wow, that was intense. And I was like, yeah, I didn't really know she was going to like go in. You know, I'm a Pisces. You can tell me anything and I'll be like, okay, even if I don't fully believe it, anything about like finances or whatever, I'll just be like, yeah, that sounds good, I guess. Anyway, but that was not her. And I kind of feel like you would be that type as well, who would sense out when someone's like lying or someone has something shady. Because in retrospect, when I was thinking about it, I was like, you know, it's really good that she did that. And it's really good that like she kind of highlighted all these issues for him. And he even told me afterwards, he was like, no, like I actually, she was really tough, but I kind of needed that because, you know, I'm going to have to do presentations for other people. And it was actually really, you know, it wasn't super fun, but in a way, like I needed I needed to be asked those questions. And he was like, and I don't mind at all. So I feel like you have that energy about you where you wouldn't be afraid to ask people the questions or see through the BS. You know, you have that Plutonian penetrating, like, I don't know if that's true. Well, you said that, but actually, I don't know because I know my stuff. So again, I feel like people are intimidated by you in that sense. And we have Aries as well, which is also a similar energy to that of like, I am going to speak up for myself. I'm going to say my truth. I'm going to look after me. And honestly, you might also be perceived as someone who's competitive, as someone who's going to accomplish a lot in life, someone who's going to go after a lot of goals. You might seem as someone who's very goal oriented, someone who's very physically active, someone who gets a lot of stuff done and who is very much might always have a challenge or might, you know, always love waking up early in the morning to go work out or to go do things. I feel like you just come off as, again, very functional. So whatever you're posting on your social media, I'm almost like, is this like LinkedIn? Like this does not seem to me like Snapchat behavior. You know what I mean? But I feel like, yeah, you guys come off like someone who is probably going really big places, going to accomplish a lot of stuff. And I feel like there's people that don't even, you know, you kind of keep some people at an arm's length. You're not letting them into everything. So they might not know a whole lot about you, but I do feel like what they get from your social media makes them have a lot of respect for you, makes them think of you as someone who's very functional, and makes them think of you as someone who is going to be accomplishing big things in life and is probably destined for a lot of financial success and a lot of financial abundance. So yeah, and also some of you guys I feel like might give off a vibe of someone who has a lot of hobbies, a lot of interests. You might even have expensive hobbies like boating or I don't know, tennis or golf or something. But like you do have time for that leisure activity. A lot of people think you have this nice lifestyle and that you're doing a lot of really nice things and have a very enviable lifestyle. People are just like, wow, like they're probably, you know, they've got one of those really nice summers where it's just lined up and maybe they're going places and they got some fun activities. They got a good friend group. They're happy with their career. So I feel like they see you as very, very well-rounded, pile two. So anyways, I think that is what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If it resonated, I always love to hear it in the comments. I'd love to know if you think you fit this vibe or how it resonated for you. So please drop me a comment down below saying if you think you fit this vibe or not. Also make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button if it did resonate, and make sure to subscribe, turn notifications on by clicking that little bell so you can find out as soon as I post. And if you guys want to see more of my readings, be sure to check out my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. I just posted one all about what your family members and ancestors think of you. So that's a really deep one, but as soon as you sign up, you get access to all my readings. So over 55 additional readings about love, career, spirituality, future life, past lives, friends, money, 18 plus readings, tipsy readings. There's so many different readings over there on Patreon. So definitely check it out and join us over there. The link for that is underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description for my Patreon. And if you guys want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. And you can sign up for an hour-long reading or a half-hour reading with me. You can have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel mediumship, or intuitively. You can do a year ahead reading, a love reading, a career reading. You can ask me basically whatever you want within reason, and you can also have me do an energy check-in. There's so many options over there. So if you want to get a reading with me, be sure to head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back very soon again for another reading. So take care, guys, and I will see you soon. Bye. Hey Pile 3, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this Gathering Around the Power of Community card, this is going to be your reading. For your other cards, you guys got the Spirit Whisperer, Divine Guidance, Higher Knowing, the Word Lord, Communication, Praise, Dishonesty, and the Mapmaker of Destiny, Authentic Purpose, Inspiration, Free Will. So the first thing that's coming through is I feel like some of you guys are really funny on your social media. Maybe you post memes or funny things, or you just just have like a whimsical quality. It almost feels like you don't take your social media as seriously, or you are not like stressing out over every single post and trying to make it perfect, because I'm honestly getting a very lighthearted, easier energy, or at least that's how people perceive you. Maybe you are stressing out about each thing you post and, you know, like going over it and trying to make sure it's perfect, but it may come off very spontaneous, very of the moment. Like you're just posting how you're feeling right now, and people don't perceive you as someone that's like trying to make it perfect or trying to curate everything just so it looks exactly right. They see you as someone who's very open, very spontaneous, very bold and unafraid. And honestly, I keep getting that so many people like you because they consider you to be funny and charming and just kind of like easygoing. Like there's an easy energy. I almost feel like you are perceived as someone who might have a lot of friends, and we did get gathering around the power of community. So the perfect card really for that vibe. So they might perceive you as someone who has a lot of friends or has a big community and is generally well liked by a lot of people. I also feel like you are perceived from your social media as someone who's very smart, very intelligent, someone who kind of has your finger on the pulse, so to speak. So maybe you post about current events occasionally, or if there's like a meme going around, you would post that. Or if there's some kind of trend, you would be on top of that, like on TikTok or wherever else. But I feel like you come across as someone who's very aware, very smart, very kind of like, I want to say hip and current, but doesn't take themselves too seriously, isn't trying to come off like over the top, like I'm so smart, look at me, I'm aware of all the current events, but more like it's just effortless for you. And you might have even been perceived as just like even the class clown, or just like, you know, that funny smart kid in school who was always like making wisecracks, but they weren't trying. They weren't like, hey, I poured glue on this table. Ha! It was just like maybe the teacher would say something slightly cringe and they would like make a quick comment back or something. And it would just be really funny and everyone would crack up. But it wasn't like they were trying too hard. You know, it wasn't like they were over the top, like pulling pranks on people and just trying to be the center of attention. It was like they were just effortlessly funny. I feel like that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from a lot of you guys. So I feel like a lot of people really like you, pile 3, and think of you as someone who's really fun. They might think of you, again, as someone who has an active social life or is just really funny. Even if you don't post yourself going out that much, you just might seem like you would have friends, or you're someone that would be good to be friends with. You're kind of funny, easygoing. And even if you might be perceived as someone who even has like an online community, like one of those people that would, I don't know, have an active Twitter account or something that like makes hilarious jokes, or is involved in some kind of community or space online and is very plugged in and has a lot of people that they talk to, even if they're not like real life friends, I guess. But I feel like you seem kind of very mercurial, and Mercury energy is very not, I don't mean mercurial in the sense we use it in American English, but actually as in Mercury energy, someone who's very like funny and intelligent. Mercury is a very intelligent card or energy or planet, and it's also the mischief maker. It kind of causes trouble. It likes to stir things up. Mercury is yeah, kind of a like prankster type of energy, and it's also very kind of immature. It's young at heart. That's why people with prominent Mercury, like on the ascendant or something, often age very well, because of Mercury's kind of a youthful quality. So there's something kind of youthful about you guys, and very smart, very curious about the world, very open-minded as well. I don't feel like you come off like someone who would be like, oh my goodness, I could never eat that food. I've never had it before. Like, I know, like that looks disgusting to me. Like you might seem like someone that, like if someone took you to eat food you never tried before, if they took you to get like Ethiopian food, or if you've never had, I don't know, Bangladeshi food, maybe that you would be like totally open to it. You would be completely down to try it, even if it was something you had never, you know, been around before. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are really like they get a good vibe from you. They think of you as a good friend, or they have positive memories about you, and I feel like they kind of check your feet in like a almost lighthearted or whimsical way, like kind of like, I wonder what pile 3 is up to. I wonder what they're doing. Like they might even get a laugh just thinking of you. I know that sounds kind of mean, but not in a bad way, but like in a good way of like, oh, like remember when pile 3 did this, that kind of a thing. Let's get into your tarot though. So we also got the Ace of Wands reversed, the 7 of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, the Knight of Cups, 5 of Swords, and the 8 of Swords as well. So starting off with the Ace of Wands reverse, you guys might come off as someone who doesn't necessarily want to seem super sexual or doesn't necessarily want to seem super serious. Like I feel like I feel like a lot of you guys would think that's kind of cringe. Like if you were to post yourself with like a really intense selfie or like really done up perfectly or even like super face tuned, that just might not be your vibe. You might come across like someone who just seems really natural, really down to earth, and like someone who, even if you did post a selfie, there's like a lighthearted, chill energy about it. You don't seem like you would have face tuned it into oblivion and just like edited the heck out of it and stressed out about like the lighting. You might seem like someone who's just very spur of the moment. Like if you took a selfie, you just point your camera over your head and just click, and that's the one you use, you know? You also might seem like someone who has a very active imagination with this 7 of Cups. You might seem like someone who's a little bit of a, I want to say, I just heard in my mind, jack of all trades, master of none. And I almost feel like the things I'm hearing for you, it's almost like, are y'all roasting pile 3? Like, I feel like sometimes the things they're even saying to me is like they're kind of teasing you. But it's almost like your guides are also playful and funny in the same way you are, and they're kind of like having a sense of humor about it. I'm almost getting like Sagittarius vibes from this pile as well. But I do feel like, and it's so funny, as I said that, the next card is the Wheel of Fortune. So definite confirmation on that Sagittarius energy, and that's the major arcana card you guys pulled. So, you know, Sagittarius energy is always trying things new and definitely can have that jack of all trades energy. They are the archer, so they love to try new projects, new things, new adventures. They love to travel to new places and learn new things. And they don't necessarily have the longest attention span though. Sometimes they can be like, oh, I'm into this, and then I'm into that, and then I want to try that, and blah, blah, blah. And there's kind of a young, chaotic, playful quality to Sagittarius. They can be really funny, but sometimes it can be like, okay, this is serious, and Sagittarius is still laughing. I mean, they come after Scorpio, so they, you know, all those signs in the zodiac tend to like try to correct the issues of the prior signs. So Scorpio being so deep and loving to get really deep and intense and talk things over and get really into like the trauma and, you know, the real truth of everything. Sagittarius is kind of like reaction to that is like, oh no, we don't even need to go there. Let's just keep things fun. Let's keep it lighthearted. Let's just be easygoing. They are a spiritual sign though. They are ruled by Jupiter, which is a god energy. So it's not to say Sagittarians aren't smart, but they don't necessarily want to get as like down in the muck of the trauma as Pluto. So again, I feel like for you guys, there's this kind of lighthearted, fun, curious vibe, but you're not necessarily someone that wants to like, I wouldn't say post on your social media like a really sad post about like someone leaving you or all the trauma you've been through. Feels like you guys try to keep it like more happy-go-lucky, more positive, and I feel like people get that vibe from you. I feel like they think of you as someone who is fun and probably does a lot of fun things. They might think of you as someone who's a little bit of the life of the party, where if you were out at wherever, like a function, a dinner or a party, you would just be like laughing the whole time and, you know, really enjoying yourself and making everyone else around you laugh. Like it would just be a really positive, good vibe, good time, good vibe. Just, yeah, like I feel like you would be a great person too to get stuck next to at a dinner party, because you would probably have really funny things to say and really funny observations and stuff like that. With the Knight of Cups reversed, again, some people might have that jack of all trades, master of none vibe towards you, where they might see you as someone who's a little chaotic, Like you're always interested in a new thing, but you don't necessarily commit to it. You're not necessarily someone who's like, I want to absolutely give my all. I will work on this until the day I die. You know, Sagittarius are known for that. They can be kind of like commitment phobic as well. And so they tend to be kind of like on to the next. And if, you know, it takes a lot for them to like something enough to where they're like, oh, I'm okay giving up my freedom. I'll stick with this. So yeah, I feel like people might think of you as a little elusive, or even if they're interested in dating you, they might be afraid that you would be, like I said, on to the next, dating around, that you have a lot of friends, that you have a lot of people who are interested in you, and you're not necessarily someone who's like, I am ready to settle, I want to like commit, I want that one person, but you're like in an explorative mode, like you're out exploring, experiencing things, wanting to learn new things, wanting to do a lot. Some of you guys might even be big readers, and you might post on your social media about that. For some of you guys, like you might be a part of book talk, or you know, have an Instagram about books or something like that. But there's definitely this kind of curious, fun, friendly. I also feel like you come across like someone who would be a great conversationalist, because again, you come across as intelligent. You like know a lot about things, but you're not a know-it-all. You're not someone who's gonna like brag and be like, excuse me, you didn't know about the what happened in Algeria during the Second World War. Well, wow. Well, Algeria's involvement, like you're not going to lecture someone, you know, you might know that, but like play it off and be like, oh yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, I didn't know this either, but apparently in Algeria, blah, blah, and be like really chill about it, or not even want to talk about something heavy like World War II. To be honest, I feel like a lot of you guys would want to just keep things lighthearted and keep things pleasant and happy. And yeah, there's this open. I'm also seeing the Fool card in my mind. This card is kind of reminding me of it as well, but I'm seeing the Fool card, and the Fool is very like open and bold and ready to experience life, and that's definitely, I feel like, your vibe as well. I also pulled these two cards, but there were so many I didn't use them, but I kept them on the side and I was like, I don't know, I might, and I'm feeling called to use them. So we got the Sun card and we got the Page of Swords. So with the Sun, that's double fire sign energy, which definitely makes sense for you guys. Fire signs tend to very much live in the moment. They are very relentlessly curious. They love a challenge. They love something new. They love a new endeavor, a new exciting thing. Anything exciting is something that fits the vibe of fire signs. And fire signs tend to be exciting themselves. They tend to have like exciting lives, interesting things happening. Especially Sagittarius tends to travel a lot, experience new things. They might have a very diverse group of friends, or a group of friends that's just full of like this type of person and that type of person, and you know, this personality type and whatever, and that personality type, and just totally like not just a boring predictable group, but like really actually very engaging and unpredictable. And then we have Leo energy, and Leo loves creative projects. Leo loves to create anything that's, like I said, creative, performative. So they love performing in front of a crowd. They love doing art. They literally rule over creative endeavors. So, you know, writing, singing, performing, painting, anything like that is all totally Leo's domain. And so again, I feel like you also might be seen as someone who's very creative. Like you might dress in a kind of whimsical way, or a very unique way that marches to the beat of your own drum and expresses some of your creativity. I'm seeing like, I think her name was Portia from the White Lotus, how she has like that really cool way of dressing, or that really, I mean, some people don't think it's cool, but it's very unique, you know, and she definitely dresses in a way that marches to the beat of her own drum and does her own thing, and isn't necessarily something that you would expect to be just like a conformist, boring style. You know, she's very like vivid and colorful. Literally, she's very colorful. She wears a lot of colors. So I definitely think that people think of you as someone who's, and honestly, I can kind of get that personality from her as well. Like she seems kind of positive, and she seems kind of like happy-go-lucky, but kind of funny, but kind of like she makes jokes at her own expense, and she's very like open to things, but she's smart, but she's not someone who's trying to come off smart and like a nerd. She's not that personality, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think also with the Page of Swords, you guys might be very curious about a lot of different subjects, and you might always be learning, always be trying new things. I think most people are very charmed by you and your social media presence, pile 3. I think most people who check your socials, they just think of you as like a good egg, a good person, a good fun friend to be around, someone that they'd love to have at their party, someone who is just, you know, I almost want to say, and I feel like it sounds really corny, and I almost feel like you guys would make fun of me for saying this, but I want to say you put a smile on everyone's face when they go to your page. So yeah, I feel like you have a positive, kind of infectious energy. Let's get into some of these cards. We're going to do a live shuffle for pile number 3. What do people think of pile 3's social media? So we got confidence. Okay. And you guys do seem confident, although we got the 8 of Swords and the 5 of Swords. So I do feel like some of you guys sometimes have been done wrong or betrayed, but I'm like, why is this coming up in how people perceive them? I mean, that might be something that comes through where like, it might be the vibe that people sometimes see you as someone who, like I said as well, jack of all trades, master of none. I keep seeing that in my mind. And, you know, it may be a thing where right now at your life, you don't seem to have everything figured out. And there may be people around you who feel like you're kind of like, you're trying this and then you're trying that and then you're doing that and this, and you don't seem fully settled. You don't seem like someone who has it all figured out and knows exactly what's going on. Some people also might perceive you to be surrounded by people who are a little bit unscrupulous or kind of shady. It might be that your friend group is perceived as shady. You know, if you guys hang out with a group that's very sociable or kind of like popular, I want to say, sometimes those people can just be stereotyped as being shady, even if they're not. So I don't know how this is for you guys. I don't know how it's gonna, you know, apply to each of your individual lives. Take it as it resonates and leave the rest. But there may be a vibe of some people being like, oh, they're not surrounded by the best people, or they might even see you as just someone who's kind of vulnerable, kind of like how, not to do a spoiler for the White Lotus, but maybe this is a little mini spoiler. So if you really haven't seen the 2nd season, like you can fast forward by like 20 seconds, but it's a minor spoilery thing. But I just feel like, you know, on the show, there is like some shady people that Portia ends up being surrounded with, right? And she doesn't really see the red flags because she's kind of like very positive and kind of expects the best, you know? I mean, Sagittarius and is ruled by Jupiter, so is Pisces. And Pisces gets called out for being kind of like overly delusional and positive when things are kind of not, you know, but I definitely think Sagittarius can have that same energy of like expecting things to work out. And most of the time it does, because Jupiter also confers luck. And so it's a very optimistic, positive energy. But when it doesn't, or when you're kind of really turning a blind eye to things, then it can be bad. So I'm not saying that you're surrounded by bad people or anything. This is people's perception. So it's not accurate necessarily, but they might see you as someone who has some friends that are like tough, or friends that are kind of like, why does pile 3 hang out with them? Like pile 3 so nice, and they have some mean friends, or they have friends who are like tough or mean girls or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. We also got confidence. So people may perceive you as confident, but I am also getting, you know, it's funny. Now we got this grieving card and I was picking up on that. Like, I feel like some of you guys might actually be honest about like depression or something like that on your social media. I don't think necessarily you guys try to come across as like perfect or present a perfect image of yourself or super confident. So I actually feel people, you know, you might find people really relate to you and sometimes they're like overly vulnerable with you or tell you a lot about themselves, because I feel like they almost feel like you're their friend, or they feel closer to you than they may actually be, because they see you as so accessible and they see you as someone who's really honest and like down to earth and vulnerable, and you're not someone who's, like I said, trying to be perfect or trying to be like, I got everything figured out in my life. So some people might be protective of you. Like I almost feel like with Portia on the show, right? Like there was a part of you that kind of wanted to be like, oh my God, like you're so sweet, but like you need to open your eyes to some of the shady characters, you know, and see things a little bit more clearly. And I feel like, yeah, that show kind of explored that dynamic for both of like the 2 youngest characters on it. And so, yeah, I think I think sometimes you might have people who watch your social media who almost get concerned about you or are like wanting to be protective of you, wanting to take care of you because you do seem to have a youthfulness about you or a trusting quality about you or a sweetness about you. And I feel like a joviality as well. Like you seem kind of jovial and kind of positive and upbeat, and they don't want that to like go to waste. You know, they don't want to see that get trampled on or anything like that. Yeah. And some of you guys might be into like some new agey type of stuff is what I'm getting as well. You might be into like crystals or post about astrology, post about tarot, and be open about that. But I think mostly, like I said, people are really charmed by you. Let's get into some astrology dice for pile number 3. So we got, why am I not surprised? Neptune. We got Leo, and then we got the 6th house, Virgo. Definitely not surprised. Neptune, Pisces, and I mentioned Pisces earlier with the connection to Sag since they have the same ancient ruler. So right now we have Pisces, Leo, Virgo energy. And Pisces, you know, can be very trusting, can be very open, is very whimsical. It actually fits you guys really well. Actually, I totally get this Jupiter vibe, Sagittarius energy, but Pisces it could be as well, which is that, you know, very dreamy, whimsical, happy, positive, can be very loving and giving to others, but again, sometimes can assume everyone else has the same good intentions that Pisces does. And so they can be easily taken advantage of. Pisces, even though Pisces is like one of, if not the most psychic elements in the whole astrology, it can also tend to be gullible and not listen to their psychic intuition, but instead want to trust someone because they want to see the bright side. They want to believe someone. They want to think that someone really is meaning what they're saying, and they don't want to imagine that we live in a cruel, evil world where people lie and stuff. So sometimes they'll listen to a shady person even over their incredibly powerful intuition. And that's one of Pisces' life journeys, is learning to trust their intuition over what they wish was true, what someone told them, and what they don't want to be mean by not believing, you know. So honestly, again, I feel like with you guys, you have that Pisces charm though, that Pisces gives off, that makes people kind of protective of them and makes people really want to look after them and think of them as just like sweet and innocent and like adorable, and just very cute and kind of like endearing and sweet. You know, you have that vibe for sure. Like I feel like people are genuinely protective of you guys. Also the creativity that Pisces has with it, as well as Leo, as we already mentioned. Leo does rule over creative abilities, and Pisces has that in spades. Pisces is also highly creative and gets downloads from the astral plane. And then with Leo, Leo just feels this primal need to create things, to do things, to have hobbies, to have interests, to bring their sun energy and shine it to the world. So they're different kind of forms of creativity, but both extremely creative. And so again, and also very psychic, both Leo and Pisces. So I feel like, again, people see you as creative, whimsical. They might see you as someone who has a lot of creative hobbies or projects, or someone who dresses in an artistic, creative way. They might go to you even for fashion advice. Fashion inspiration is what I'm getting. Pile 3, they might check your social media to see how you're dressing and what you're wearing. You feel like someone who's very on the current, finger on the pulse. Like you would be wearing whatever style is going to be big next year. You're already wearing it. You already know. You might even use your psychic abilities to get these downloads of like what the collective is going to be interested in wearing next. But I feel like you have this kind of restless energy. You always want like new, now, next. You want to always be doing something different and pushing boundaries and trying something new. And you love to explore new things is what I'm getting. So this is, I feel like the vibe people get from your social media is like they just see you as someone that's constantly reinventing themselves, trying new things, exploring, very positive. It's a really lovely energy, to be honest. Then we also have the 6th house, Virgo. Virgo is a highly creative sign. It's ruled by Mercury, which I mentioned at the very beginning of this reading. And I do feel like you give off a younger feeling. So again, some of you guys might have prominent Mercury in your chart or be Mercury ruled. So Gemini or Virgo, you might have like a Gemini, Virgo, sun, moon, ascendant. But there's something about you that I feel like comes across youthful, young. You might come across as someone who is like I said, highly intelligent, knows a lot about things, very curious about things. You might even come off as a bit of a prankster or a bit of a jokester type of person. But I feel like in a really smart way, kind of like how comedians are super smart, like all of them, because they can come up with these jokes, right? I feel like you're someone who's effortlessly funny and really, really witty and kind of says things a little crazy and out of the blue at times. Like people, you might say things that people are like, what? But it's like the funniest thing they ever heard. And actually Neptune, Pisces kind of have those placements as well. That's why Pisces is technically debilitated in Mercury, but I literally love Pisces Mercury's. It's one of my favorite placements. Like I think they're so underrated. And you know, there's a lot of powerful singer-songwriters and writers in general that have Neptune conjunct Mercury. So I will continue to argue that I don't like Mercury being debilitated in Pisces. I'm gonna, you know, put that, I'm going to die on that hill, I guess. I don't want to say I'm going to die, knock wood, but I just mean I'm going to, you know, push that. I don't feel like we should have Mercury debilitated in Pisces because they tend to say so many psychic things. And yes, they can come off very spicy or very spacey. And at times you're like, what are they even saying? But then a lot of times it weirdly comes true and they just know things. And I feel like they come off a little bit spacey out there, a little bit like head in the clouds, but again, that's part of their charm and that's a part of their psychic stuff that's going on with them. So again, I feel like that's the vibe you give off, but people know you're intelligent. People can tell that you're really smart. You do give off that Virgoan vibe of being curious. Virgo loves to learn things. Virgo is also like really smart. I mean, Mercury's exalted there, the only planet exalted in its domicile. So honestly, it is a super smart energy. It's very precise. It really gets things right when they want to, and just knows so much about the world, and is also very helpful, and people know they can really depend on Virgo. So I feel like the feeling people have towards you from your social media is super positive, Pile 3. I feel like people really like you. They get a kick out of you. They think you're fun. They think you're charming. They'd probably love to hang out with you and like grab drinks with you and just think of you as like very whimsical. I'm almost getting a fairy energy. Love this energy for Pile 3. It's honestly been even a delight just to read it. Like I love it. You just read it all day because it's just very pleasant, delightful, and like fairy vibes, honestly. So, but I can't go on too long because it wouldn't be fair to the other piles. But yeah, that's what I have for you guys, Pile 3. I really hope it resonated. Let me know if it did in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys, love hearing your thoughts, your explanations, how it resonated for you. So definitely drop it down in the comments, my lovely little Pile 3s, and make sure to subscribe, turn those notifications on, hit the little bell, and don't forget to like it, by the way. I almost forgot this, but make sure to click like, hit the little thumbs up button. That really helps. And if you guys want to see more of my content, then be sure to head to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. I just posted one all about what your family and ancestors think of you. That's a really deep one. But as soon as you sign up, you get access to all my additional readings. So over 55 additional readings about love, career, future life, past lives, spirituality, relationships, money, 18+ readings, tipsy readings. There's a lot of content over on Patreon. So if you want to join us, be sure to head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description, and I will see you over on Patreon. And if you guys want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half-hour reading or a full hour-long reading with me. You can have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel mediumship, or intuitively, you can have me do a year ahead reading for you, a love reading, a career reading, just an energy check-in. You really get to say what we talk about. So you kind of have me at your disposal within reason for our time together. So if you'd like to get a reading with moi, then you can get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back very soon again for another reading. So take care, guys, and I will see you soon. Bye. Hey, Pile 4, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this Winter's Dream gestation period card, this is going to be your reading. So for your other cards, you guys got the Hawk Prince, Spirit Communication, Paying Attention, the Swan Queen, Transformation, Intuition, Patience, and the Diamond Dreamer, Material Wealth, True Prosperity. So I feel like a lot of you guys are considered very put together on your social media, though I'm going to be honest, I feel like a lot of you in Pal 4, you don't post that often. You don't really show a ton of yourself. You might not be super transparent on social media. There is this kind of oblique energy that I'm getting from you, hard to read energy, elusive energy. So some of you guys just might not post that much, or when you do post, you're not necessarily like telling all your business and showing yourself 100% truthfully. You might be presenting a little bit of a curated image, or just be very like choosy with when you post, how often you post, and what you post. But I do feel like a lot of people get a vibe about you from your social media that you seem put together, that you seem like you have your life figured out. I feel like a lot of people consider you very attractive physically, like you just have a attractive face, or you are just kind of like charming, well put together. You might dress in kind of a classic way, or if you are a woman, you might dress in a very feminine way, or if you're a man, you might dress in a very masculine way. But I do feel like there's something about you that, again, fits a kind of classical mold, is kind of like well put together. I feel like people see you as being very looked after, like you look after yourself, you take care of yourself. They might see you as someone who's very clean and would smell good and dresses in cute, updated clothing, someone who is, yeah, I feel like you seem also, there's something about you that doesn't seem like super reckless. Like you don't seem like someone who is going to, someone's going to find out that you got, you know, arrested for something, or someone's going to find out that like you're posting asking for donations to your GoFundMe because you just got fired, you know what I mean, on your social media. You seem like someone who would do a really good job of managing things and kind of keeping things on like a good PR level is what I want to say. The word PR is coming to my mind, and it almost makes me think of people I knew who worked in advertising or PR who, you know, have that mind for like, how are things going to be perceived and how are things going to be interpreted by others. And I feel like you have a good handle on that. Like you're not going to be posting anything crazy. And I do feel like your social media, like you could probably show it to a lot of different people and they would come to a good conclusion about you. Whether you showed it to like an older person or a young person, they would probably be like, yeah, this seems like a really nice person. This seems like someone who has their life in a good place. They don't seem super chaotic. They don't seem super crazy. You might, you know, photograph yourself going out to like nice places to eat, or I'm seeing like delicious images of food. So maybe you share food pics to your Instagram. I know that's controversial, but no surprise, right? Given my kind of readings, I love them. I love food pics. So I'm never going to judge someone for posting anything about food. But anyway, yeah, I feel like you guys, you know, you might have a very good eye for beauty. And when you post things, you literally just might make it more aesthetic. Like if you're posting something to your Instagram, you might, you know, just know how to light it right so that it looks really good. So instead of just posting a photo of like, here's my sandwich, it's actually really beautiful and like it's lit well and it's kind of a vibe, and you know, there's like the vase of flowers bright at the top corner. So everything I feel like looks really good and is like chic and pretty, and well done. I feel like, yeah, a lot of people might see you as like an ideal partner, like an ideal boyfriend or girlfriend, because of how you carry yourself. Because I feel like you come off as, one, attractive, and two, like responsible. You don't seem like a mess. You don't seem like someone who's super chaotic on your social media. You do seem responsible and just well balanced, I guess, is what's coming through. I also feel like there's an intuitive quality that some of you guys might give off. I feel like for some of you, it's almost like this group is branched into two. There may be an earthy quality where you might also come off a little bit witchy or earthy or into like earthy subjects. So you might be into like crystals or food or eating organic stuff from nature that's very like respecting nature or something like that, where I feel like I said, it's kind of earthy and something kind of spiritual about how you carry yourself. Not everyone, but for some of you guys, I feel like you're open about your spirituality on social media, even if it's like posting a Bible verse or posting some kind of uplifting quote or quoting Joel Osteen or something like that. There may be something about you that comes across as spiritual or religious in nature, and something that people kind of think of you as someone who has your own practices, your own habits. I also feel like in general, you are seen as someone who has like a daily practice or habit or schedule. So you might seem like someone who goes to the gym at a certain time every day, or makes the same smoothie every day for breakfast, or, you know, has like their routine before they go into work. But again, I feel like a lot of people react really well to this, and they think of you as someone who takes really good care of yourself, who's really great at self-care. You're probably not going to be someone who's just going to neglect to shower for a week and just come into the office kind of not smelling so great. You know, you seem like someone who looks after yourself, takes good care of yourself, and is very like well put together. So I feel like a lot of people might even look up to you or just see you as a little bit of a role model in some ways. I'm actually seeing Lily Collins's character from Emily in Paris. Emily, I guess. But yeah, there is this also luxury vibe we got with the Diamond Dreamer. So some people may think of you as someone who has a lot of expensive clothing. They might also see you as someone who probably spends a lot of money on like skincare or hair care or perfumes, but again, well taken care of, like you do a really good job of looking after yourself. Let's get into some of the tarot. So we got the Knight of Pentacles next to the Knight of Wands reversed, the Star, the Two of Wands, the Three of Wands, the Moon. Oh, I didn't know I took so many, but anyway, the Moon, the Nine of Pentacles, Four of Cups, and the Three of Wands. So starting off the reading with the Knight of Pentacles next to the Knight of Wands reversed. So perfect. I love when Spirit makes it so clear that y'all are much more of this Knight of Pentacles energy. And the Knight of Pentacles tends to be strategic. It's also Pentacle energy, so it tends to be down to earth. It's not a chaotic energy the way Knight of Wands is super chaotic and tends to rush into things and tends to be very spontaneous and feelings based and just like, I'm doing this, I don't care. And that is not the energy of the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles has a lot of energy, but it's also very long-term focused. It has goals, it has dreams that it's working to achieve, and it's going to kind of take that step-by-step energy, that balance, down to earth, kind of peaceful or calm energy in order to achieve it. They're not going to be chaotically rushing into things and making crazy choices the way the Knight of Wands would. So I do feel like you guys are more of this Knight of Pentacles energy. You are someone who is going to probably take a very methodical approach to things, or at least that's how you present yourself on social media. So for some of you guys, that even with the Knight of Wands reverse, it could be the opposite. It could be that some of you guys do post your chaotic stuff on social media all the time. But honestly, I think most people think of you as very respectable, as someone who's like someone they can kind of look up to, someone that they think has carried themselves very well. I wouldn't be surprised if you have like family, friends of your parents who like follow your social media or something and are still like, oh, what a nice girl Pile 4 is. Like, oh, Pile 4 is such a great boy. He's going to accomplish so many things in life. You know, it's kind of like this, you know, Pile 4 is not like the rest of them. Pile 4 is not this chaotic, dramatic, like, pile of problems. Pile 4 has really got their head screwed on straight. Pile 4 is going to really do a good job in things, and people might perceive you also as someone who's very creative and has a lot of creative interests, a lot of creative projects that they're working on, like a side hobby or something. I feel like you also get perceived as someone who might even like doing like home decor or home renovations or something, or have a really nice home, put together things really well when it comes to interior design, home decorating, and also with your wardrobe and how you guys dress. I feel like a lot of people see you, like I said, as someone who's very well put together and someone who isn't going to be leaving the house looking like a mess. And what you might post on your social media might be things on that same tip. So you might be posting social media of yourself looking really cute in a dress with your hair done and your nails done, and you don't look like a clown who just, not that there's anything wrong with not getting dressed up, but you just seem like you really manage yourself well. And I feel like you definitely might have people who are following you who, like I said, think of you as like girlfriend or boyfriend potential, might have a crush on you, because I'm almost feeling like some of you guys are like that girl, you know, where you just know how to manage yourself really well. You know how to take care of yourself. You know how to look after yourself. You might even be into like the clean girl aesthetic or things like that. But there's something about you that I feel like makes a really good impression. Almost like you would be great to introduce to someone's parents when they are dating you. You would make a great impression on the parents. I'm almost getting like some Capricorn vibes, because Capricorn is all about that good impression. It's all about that managing their life well, doing things, planning things. And we have the Two of Wands and the Three of Wands, which are both planning energy. So I feel like you come across like a really good planner. You also come across as someone who's smart and might be a deep thinker. You might be into reading, or people might assume that you were into reading, that you're like a, you know, constantly reading a new book, constantly learning, constantly watching different movies and TV shows and like listening to songs. And there's kind of that softer side to you, but I also feel like you come across very diligent, like you do a great job with your career, and like you're a very much of a hard worker. So people perceive that you already have some level of financial success, or that you're going to be destined for it. We have the Diamond Dreamer, and we also got the Nine of Pentacles. So people definitely see this vibe with you of someone who is going to accomplish a lot financially, or already is in a really good place financially and doesn't have a ton of financial worries. People think of you as someone who might have a lot of money already. Or if you dress in a way that comes across as bougie, upscale, high end, that kind of a thing. We also got the Star card. So I feel like people also perceive you as being the center of attention sometimes, having a lot of eyes on you. And I am getting that some of you guys attract a lot of jealousy for this. Again, I said you guys might be like that girl. And so whenever you're that kind of persona, you might get a lot of jealousy directed at you. I am seeing like Elle Woods from Legally Blonde, and you know those scenes when she gets all the jealousy when she gets to Harvard, and people not understanding her, thinking, oh, she thinks she's better than us, or she would have excluded us at parties, when actually we all know Elle has such a beautiful heart. So I feel like for some of you guys, you might sometimes face judgment, or people thinking that you're not really that nice, or that you're very closed off. I am feeling like a lot of you guys keep your circle small. So it's not that you're trying to be mean, but you just might be a little bit choosy and picky with how you spend your time, who you hang out with. And I feel like you very much question whether hanging out with someone is in alignment with your values and goals, with your long-term plans, because like I said, you guys are great planners, and you're not going to do something super chaotic that's going to derail your long-term dreams and your long-term adventures that you want to go on, things that you want to try. So you're probably not going to hang out with them if they don't align with you in some way. But again, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think you guys just really have your eyes on the prize in some way. And I do feel like there's also that dreamy, introspective, and kind of psychic or intuitive vibe that you guys give off as well. We did get the Moon card, and like I mentioned at the beginning, I feel like there are members of this pile that diverge a little from the typical energy, in that you guys might seem very down to earth and kind of earthy and almost witchy. Or I'm thinking of someone in my life who kind of lives on a farm and bought a bunch of land and like eats only the stuff they grow from the land. That kind of a vibe for some of you guys. Not all of you guys. That's a very specific subset, but that energy is coming through for some of you. You might also just seem like someone who would do really well in that lifestyle, living on a farm or cooking your own food. You might seem like someone who would be a great cook, be a great like homemaker, be a great stay-at-home mom or something like that. But like you really have that capacity, that level of organization and responsibility, and you can be quite diligent when you put your mind to things. So let's get into some more cards. Let's do a little live shuffle for pile number 4. What kind of What do people think of pile 4's social media? What energy did they get off their social media? Trust. I definitely am not surprised by that. I feel like a lot of people trust you. Like you might be that person that when you walk into a store, even though they're checking everyone else's bags or they're they're kind of like they have a security guard keeping their eye on everyone, they just let you walk through and they're like, oh, it's fine. Because you come off as very trustworthy. There's something about you that just gives off an energy of like, they're not going to be up to no good. They're like, they're going to listen to the rules and they're not going to be like doing something crazy and running out with like half the jewelry counter. They are going to be very respectable. And you might seem like someone who, again, has a lot of composure, really, behaves in a very graceful way, behaves in a way that's very respectful to others, and they don't have to worry about you having really bad manners or really bad decorum or just acting in a disrespectful or an embarrassing way around others. So again, I feel like a lot of people respect you and they do have that trust for you. They can kind of relax and just breathe easy if you're going to a social event with them or you're meeting their parents or you're meeting their new partner. You're not going to like embarrass everyone and make a fool of yourself. You're going to probably be great with making polite conversation and making things flow really easily. But again, I really do feel like a lot of you guys don't post that much on social media. So a lot of these people, they're still curious. Some of you guys might not even have social media. So I feel like some of this is people like filling in the blanks based on maybe first impressions. For those of you guys who do post, I definitely feel like this is the vibe. But again, there's kind of a boundary between you with how you use social media. I don't feel like you guys are being like, you're not feeling the need, which I think is fine. You can use social media for different ends and different purposes. But to me, this is more of like a curated page. This would be more of like the highlight reel or someone posting like their best meals out, not necessarily posting like the, lukewarm ham sandwich that they left out for an hour and then finally remembered and went over to eat and standing over the kitchen sink. You know what I mean? Like this is like the beautiful restaurant meal. It's not going to be the like half-eaten bag of Cheetos that someone ate while they were watching The Bachelor. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that can be a really good thing. Like if you were a brand, you'd be like a very polished one like Chanel or something just higher end that like is very, I want to say classy and well put together. So let's get more cards for pile number 4. We got commitment. And you might seem like that kind of beauty. I'm telling you, you guys really give off that girl type of vibe. And blessings. And so sometimes people might get jealous because of this. People might think that you just have it easy. They also might think that you have a lot of like simps or people who want to date you following your social media as well. So they might assume or think from your social media, oh, look at this person. They look so attractive in all their photos and they probably have a million people trying to date them. Their dating life is probably super easy. They have no problems. And sometimes that might lead to resentment or jealousy from some of these people. They might see you as someone who has everything just super perfect for them. And there also are people that, again, that is true because I do feel like you do have a lot of people who look at your social media and think of you as an excellent partner, that you would be like a committed partner, you would be loyal, you wouldn't be doing crazy stuff or spending the night out, at the bar, getting super drunk with members of the opposite sex or whatever. You would be a partner who they can really rely and depend on, and they can really turn to you and know that you kind of have their back, and that I feel like once you're committed, you're in, or that's how people perceive you at least. They also might perceive you, what I just saw in my mind is those social media posts of someone like cleaning out their refrigerator and putting in a super organized like thing of groceries. And so I feel like you might come across, or people might guess from your social media, that you have that vibe, that like there wouldn't be a single hair out of place. with your home. Everything would be very neat and tidy, probably smell really good. You might even have like a home diffuser or some home perfume that you smell, that you know, spray over the room. But that again, everything would be well put together, and that you guys kind of are, sometimes I feel like people might think of you as like Little Miss Perfect or Mr. Perfect. And if they are in a low vibrational envious energy, it definitely might bring out their negative side, and they might kind of resent this a little bit. But yeah, they also might think you have a lot of free time and extra income to spend on hobbies. They might see you as someone that has a life of leisure or gets to travel a lot, and someone who just things kind of come easily to. Let's get into your astrology dice for pile number 4. Spirit, what can you tell me about pile 4? Okay, so we got Cancer, the 5th house, and we got Venus energy. That's perfect for you guys. So we have Cancer, Leo, and then Libra or Taurus energy. So those might be your signs, but we'll go into some of the energies. With Cancer, again, I think people think you would make a really great cook, possibly a very healthful cook, but you would really look after the people in your life that you're close to. When you're in a relationship with someone, that you would be super loving and caring towards them, and probably really take care of them, like make them soup if they were feeling sick, or whip up a little cake for them to celebrate their promotion at work. You would just really look after and take care of everyone around you. And Cancer is the crab, so Cancer is very soft on the inside, but on the outside they do have that hard shell. And again, I get the vibe that some of you guys are protective of yourself. You're not necessarily going to post all your political views or all your feelings, every emotion you're going through, every bad photo of you. You probably don't have one of those really chaotic social media accounts where someone's just posting themselves like as soon as they wake up in the morning, and then 20 stories throughout the day of like me making coffee, and then I ate this for breakfast, and then I'm going for a walk, and what did you guys think of that TV show? Like, I don't feel like that's your vibe. Even if you were to post throughout the day, it feels like you would, you know, take the time to put on some maybe mascara and a little slick of like foundation before you took this morning selfie, you know? Or if you were going to post a photo of your cup of coffee, it wouldn't be like a blurry shot of a spilled paper coffee mug as you walk back from the coffee shop. It would be like a cute aesthetic photo of like a latte with latte art, or a coffee you made at home in your cute mug, and it would be, you know, very well curated. It wouldn't be someone showing themselves being a mess. So again, I feel like there's a lot of people that almost wish, I'm hearing adopt me, or people who just want to date you because they're like, oh, I love their life, I love their lifestyle. Some of you guys have the potential to be even like lifestyle curators or influencers or something like that, because I feel like you guys have such an eye for aesthetic, and that's definitely backed up by this Venus energy. So Venus, Libra, and Taurus. And Venus energy is all about beauty. It literally rules over beauty. And like I said, if you are a woman, you definitely give off that divine feminine energy vibe. You definitely give off that vibe of someone who is extremely feminine and kind of soft and sweet, and has a really amazing eye for beauty. So you might be really good at makeup, or really good at hair, or just really good at clothing, or really good at decorating things in general, whether it's your house or your car, or even picking out like a birthday card at the store to get someone. You'd probably have a real eye for the most beautiful ones and know exactly what to buy and exactly the right present that's going to make your friend smile. You have a real knack and a real art for artistic things, beautiful things, and all the things that Venus rules. Venus is also like kind of graceful, decorum. It's people who are like gentle with how they speak. It's an energy that tends to be very like kind of silver-tongued or charismatic, knows what to say, knows how to ingratiate themselves, isn't going to be mannerless or slovenly or just be kind of gross and disgusting. Venus loves to be in their gentle, beautiful energy, loves to be surrounded by beauty in general. And then we have 5th house. 5th house also rules over children. So I do feel like people assume you would make a great parent if that's something you want to do. But also 5th house is hobbies and interests. And like I said, I think a lot of you guys come off like you probably have a lot of free time to spend on interests and to spend on things you love. Fifth house Leo also tends to attract a lot of attention. And as we mentioned, you guys are the star. So people tend to think that you probably get a lot of attention wherever you go, that you have a lot of people who think you're attractive, and that you probably have a lot of like simps sliding in the DMs, trying to get to talk to you, trying to ask you out. I think you are seen as someone who's very high in demand, someone who has a lot of offers for dating, and probably has a lot of friends or just invitations in general to social events. And again, someone who's just very well taken care of and probably looks beautiful and is dressed beautifully at all times. So yeah, I think that is what I have for you guys. Pile 4, I really hope it resonates. If it does, can't even talk, let me know in the comments, and yeah, drop me a note if this fits your vibe or not. I'm always super curious, so I would love to know. Also, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, give this reading a like if it did resonate with you, and make sure to subscribe and turn those notifications on, hit the little bell so you can find out as soon as I post next. And if you guys want to see even more of my content, then head on over to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. I just posted one all about what your family members and ancestors think of you, so that's a really deep one. But as soon as you sign up for my Patreon, you get access to all my additional readings. So over 55 readings about love, career, future life, past lives, spirituality, money, relocation, 18 plus readings, friends, tipsy readings. There's so many different topics to choose from, and when you sign up, you get access to all of it. So I would love to see you over there on Patreon, and if you want to join, be sure to head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and in the description to join us over on Patreon. And if you guys want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half-hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel mediumship, or intuitively. You can ask me about your career, about your love life. You can do a year ahead reading. You can just do a little energy check-in and kind of pop the hood and see what's going on. But you really get to use this time for what you want to ask about, and within reason, you can pretty much ask about whatever. But yeah, if you want to get a reading from me, be sure to head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back very soon again for another reading. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Take care. Bye.